This is just a quick little video to let you guys know that my Runtime Multiplayer Map Editor plugin is now up and published to the marketplace and ready for sale. So I'm going to give a quick rundown here as to what all it entails and what you can expect from it. So if you're not also aware, this plugin is also featured in my Ultimate Multiplayer FPS template, and that is kind of incorporated separately, but they are the same plugin. So I'm going to go ahead and give a quick little rundown of what all you can expect from this. So obviously by the name, it is a runtime map editor. However, it's also replicated, so that way you can join in with your friends and all that kind of stuff and edit levels basically as you see fit. So for example, here I'm on the client. Everything I do is all replicated. And same thing goes with undo. So any transitions or changes that you make to the map can be seen by everybody. And again, like I said, it's all replicated. So the basic features that come with this is kind of built around the same way that I built the FPS template. So it's built as more of a framework that is meant to be expanded upon or changed. You just get a host of functionality that you can do whatever you want with. So as you can see, I didn't put too much effort into the UI for this, but the provided UI gives you basic functionality like setting the location and all that kind of stuff manually. So for example, if I click on this object here and I change the Z location to 0, it now sets the origin point of the Z axis to 0. You can change the snap amount. So right now this is location snap set to 5. Let's say I set this to something like 150. Now as I move it up, it snaps in really large increments. I want to revert that back to 5, and same thing goes if you set it to 0, you have full control over it. You don't have to deal with any snapping. And then of course, you can just reset it right back. Same thing applies to the rotation. Now it also comes with a framework for an item spawner, and this is all data table driven. So for example, I can open up the item spawner. I have a wall, a floor. I just realized I'm using the wrong thumbnail for the floor, but I can spawn in a set of stairs. So I just spawn in my set of stairs, and they're right there for basically everyone to see and interact with. So I can come over here after the server just spawned the stairs and interact with it on the client, or if the client wants to, the client can spawn in a set of stairs, and same thing. Now this also comes with map loading and map saving. So for example, the map loading portion is set up in a way that it is dependent on the level itself. So I'll give you an example of that. So you can save maps on both the client and the server, but you can only load maps on the server. So here we'll take the maps, or we'll just go ahead and save a map, and I'll just call it example map and save it. So let's head over to the directory here, which will be in, by default, maps. And this will be the old one. So here we have the new saved map. So as you can see, it's called example map.skmap. However, it has a prefix of map editor example map. And if you look here, the current level that we're on is map editor example map. So this is how it is used to filter out different levels. So this example map right here that we just saved will only be able to be loaded on this map here. So it'll only be able to be loaded on map editor example map. So that's set up for the sake of, if let's say you have two different maps, well, and you try to load one that you've saved on another map. Well, you're going to probably run into some issues because you don't really know where all the objects are actually at, because the transforms of everything in the world are different. The entire level's different. You might be spawning things inside of a building, inside of a wall. I think you can get the picture. So now let's go ahead and we'll just load that map right up that we just made. So go to the map loader on the client, select example map and hit load map. Nothing happens because we got to be authoritative to spawn these. So I'll head over here on the server and I'll go to map loader, select example map, and hit load map. And now you can see we have our two staircases that we, well, spawned previously. And again, we can do whatever we want with them. So adding new objects to all this stuff is very simple. So for example, here in the UI, I have my data table underscore map items. We open that. We have a list here that you can basically edit through. So again, like I said, this is meant to be a framework, so you can customize this however you want. You can add more elements to this to add more information, such as descriptions and all that, and completely overhaul the UI. So I've broken up the widgets into kind of specific sections. So for example, what we see here, let me play in the viewport, make it a little bit easier. If we look at the X, Y, and Z location, we also have the yaw, roll and pitch for rotation, and the scale. So that is all done through the map editor transform. So all the logic for controlling that and working with it in the system is stored in here. So for example, if we type in, that we want to commit a change, such as we make a change to the z-axis. So like we set the z-axis to be 2000. So we want to raise the z-axis up on the object. All we have to do is, I've provided the basic blueprint logic. Everything is done through the map editor handler, and we just simply call setActorTransform and pass it in. And that's basically going to be consistent throughout this system. So for the map item, no, not the map item, sorry, it would be the item spawner. What we do is we just works through that data table, iterates through it, and adds the map or basically the map items to it however you please. And then whenever we click on one of those map items, you can see here, all we have to do is call spawn actor. That is again through the map editor handler. So everything gets taken care of for you behind the scenes. It's extracted away. So that's, again, applies for the map. So this is, we have a bunch of helper functions here. So the map editor handler, we can get our map directory and we can get the map list from that directory. You can choose whether or not to cut the level name out. So basically, if we did not cut the level name out, the map would show up in the load maps as map editor example map, example map. So that's what that controls. We come over here to the other functions. For example, saving maps. We have helper functions for saving the map to a file. We have helper functions from loading the maps from a file, which returns the JSON string. We have the ability to spawn maps from the JSON string. And same thing, we even have more so spawn map items, which does the same exact thing as this function here, but instead takes in the data structure of the map. So we have functions to serialize and deserialize the levels and all that. So again, it's built in a very expandable modular way. You just got to make it look and function however you want. So, and everything else that you really need is provided for you. So anyways, that was just a brief overview. There will be a link to this plugin in the description below, as well as a link to how to use the plugin is available in the description right here, which takes you to this video here, multiplayer map editor plugin, how to use. So this is done through the FPS. This is going to be a template plugin, as you can see here, but it is done the exact same way. So everything is the same there. Alrighty, that pretty much sums up everything I can think of. So I hope you enjoyed. If you have any questions or anything like that, feel free to hop in my Discord and I'll try to help you out and go from there. So I'll see you in the next video.